Welcome to the Fallen Frequency Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Fallon, your guide through the world of music, art, and living life with a vibrational twist. Now, I've got some exciting guests lined up today, and we're going to dive deep into their journeys and insights. But before we kick things off, let's remember that life is like a song. It's more fun when you dance to your own beat. So buckle up and get ready for a harmonious ride. Welcome to the Fallen Frequency Podcast, where the vibes are high and the conversation is groovy. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to this special episode of my podcast. I had the pleasure of recording this actually about a year ago, and I'm finally releasing it. I'm really delighted to introduce to you a remarkable individual, Ramsay Mead. He's not just a guide and facilitator on the path of healing, but a true embodiment of age-old wisdom, innate love, and humor. I've had the privilege of calling him a friend and mentor, and I can vouch for the fact that he walks the walk in his journey from pain to purpose. Today, Ramsay and I delve into a diverse range of topics that offer insight, wisdom, and inspiration for your well-being journey. We explore his background in natural healing, how he healed himself from Crohn's disease, and how making small choices can keep your frequency and vitality at a high level. But that's just the beginning. We bridge the gap between scientific understanding and spirituality, discuss the tools you need for healing, emphasize the importance of nutrition, and ponder why people sometimes struggle with self-care. With over 30 years of experience, Ramsay shares his insights on the nature versus nurture debate and why the real wealth is health. We'll also dive into the meaning of success and how to turn the corner to find your purpose. But it doesn't stop there. We ask Ramsay about his perspective on pain, whether our souls ask for ailments and disease, and how to maintain focus in today's world of technological bombardment. Discover the importance of grounding, the best movement as we age, and the significance of accepting the changing seasons of life. We explore what frequency means in the context of life and relationships and how to find harmony within them. So without further ado, let's dive into this enlightening conversation with Ramsay Mead, a guide who helps us unlock true healing and vitality. Welcome to a podcast episode that's both enlightening and transformative. Well, it's been a long time coming, and I'm excited to introduce Ramsay Mead, amazing podcast guest, an amazing friend and human that I've been exposed to for the last year. And it's just been a treat to have him in my life. He's an expert in many different things and has lived a long hero's journey so far and still staying many years young. And I just wanted to start out first just by, introducing you and getting some background on your story and, what brought you here at this moment in time.
Well, awesome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me in my house.
Absolutely, dude. No problem. Anytime.
It's awesome. Yeah, Adam, it's great, man. Anytime we get together and talk, there's always some interesting topics that come up, and I'm excited to see where this goes today. So, I'm in full support of this journey, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, for guests that maybe haven't been exposed to you, what's some of your background? I know you've been around the world of functional medicine and different modalities of healing and even your own healing. So anything you want to share?
Yeah, sure. I basically got into, health and wellness at a young age because I was sick. I had a disease. I had Crohn's disease, but I had been sick most of my, my young child, as a young man, even as, my childhood, I was sick. I remember being sick on and off a lot when I was very young. And so, as, you're developing, you're going through puberty and all that stuff, it just kind of reared its head, and I got, Crohn's disease My dad died when, a year before that. So I had a lot of, emotional traumas, things, and, you can just imagine the developmental stage of a young man. And so from there, being sick and trying to look at ways to get healthy, what does that represent? And especially when you don't really know, but you know that you've seen the hospitals and you've seen the medical side, and it's just, you see that it's something that can just drag you down and not really deliver the life that you envision, or, the romanticizing of what life is, that, like, if you're lucky, you get a little bit of that, right? And so I realized, like, I gotta, like, figure out a way to take care of myself. And I really didn't have a clue, I had nothing. So from there, I just turned to books, and when I could find somebody that seemed like they had some bit of knowledge that was bringing me in the direction that I was steering towards, because I didn't really, have much of anything other than the fact that I just wanted to move away from, the discomforts that I was having, right? And so from there, I just really committed the lifestyle to health and healing, and what that took from, I just obviously from, I was, Crohn's disease is really just a failure to thrive condition where, you're just not absorbing nutrients and whatnot. So I had to, like, not only internally get better, but I had to, like, strengthen my system too. So from there, I just kind of it was open territory. I just wanted to learn, for everything from, like, yoga, strength conditioning, from esoteric teachings, nutrition, everything. I was just like an open book of, like, fascination from everything that had, legitimacy to really have something that I could access and utilize. And so from there, I just kind of went through, and I from the time that I was diagnosed, that road to get to a point where I'm at today, where, like, I have no symptoms, and I don't have, obviously I don't take any medications. Don't tell the pharmaceutical industry that. I'll have a bullseye on my back, right? It's I'm always leery of that. Like, that guy, he's not taking anything. He's such a,
you got to make sure we get him on something.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's, I just want to say too, there's certain situations and ailments where people have to utilize medical drugs. My thing is, I wish they were dispensed in a more proper, ethical way.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're just not. And it's been my life and my belief and my own skill set, knowledge, and all the things that have kind of pulled together over the years, that it's abused. And there's so much of natural health and healing that's accessible out there that people are unaware of, and it gets completely downgraded and pushed to the side, and no one ever really finds out about it. And then it's unfortunate because, they could get out of pain quicker, they could get on with their lives, they could save a lot of money, and they can empower themselves. And that was really the thing that I wanted to represent as I started to kind of put everything together and working with people, and, just all the things that involve with that. Because I think, like, for me, my understanding is that, like, really the only way is a natural way, and utilizing, tapping into your own self-reliance to maximize all the potential that you have within you, Yeah. And when you look at somebody, and you hear this a lot, people say, like, you have a lot of potential. And from a from a standing point, everybody has potential, right?
Yeah.
But when we look at the potential for each of us to be a healer, to heal ourselves and heal other people, I think that it's downgraded,
Yeah.
It's pushed onto other paradigms that I believe, like, your generation is really waking up and saying, this is not working.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm over here saying, you guys are you're exactly right. It's not working. We need to change this, know? And that's I mean, that's really what I represent, you know. I mean, and over the years, you know, I've had so many interesting cases of helping people heal from, you know, just chronic illness and disease. I've worked with people that had cancer, all kinds of stuff, and I'm just a guy that, connects the dots, you know, and is able to stay up late at night to research and fascination and passion to find out what these interesting herbs do and how they can relate and how they may not work in certain situations or could be toxic or, you know, not interact in the right ways with certain drugs or, you know, things like that. Right. Was always like amazing to me, coming from, you know, where I came from, you know?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I feel like we live in an age where people are just chasing like symptomology, just, you know, trying to figure out something, going down a rabbit hole and not actually getting to the root cause of what's really bringing them an ailment.
Exactly.
And I feel like it just, unfortunately, people get miseducated with all the information that they're inundated with every day, just on YouTube and all these influencers and people that are, you know, probably meaning well, but they're not really giving you the actual tools, which I feel like are really the foundations of living a healthy lifestyle. Somehow they missed teaching us that in elementary school. And, you know, it seems to be very well set up. I mean, I don't want to go, you know, or maybe we can go in that conspiracy, you know, deep rabbit hole of like, you know, how we've been programmed to believe that this is what we're here to do. We're just a mechanized society. We're not connected to spirit or soul or earth or any of that stuff. And that it's all based on science, you know, and, you know, all of that paradigm. But I find it powerful that you took the reins of it and didn't the plunge, and you didn't become a victim of your own circumstances. And actually I think that's where it starts, is this curious mindset of like, where can I maybe just get 5% better today, rather than looking at this whole trajectory and getting worried about, you know, how you're going to do it, and really focusing on the why, like why, and, you know, what can I do in this very moment? And a lot of the time it comes down to foundational living principles of sleep and hydration, all that stuff.
I couldn't agree with you more, Adam. I think that like in if you're looking at healing of any type, if you don't, and I've worked with some pretty amazing doctors over the years, and like it always comes down to those foundational, lifestyle habits that you're putting into play every day, and if you're trying to, because it's sad that there has been a lot of people that I've worked with that have had a lot of money. Okay, worked with a lot of very wealthy people. I've been fortunate. But that never excluded me working from, unfortunate people that were at a disadvantage. In fact, when you're trying to, build your business or get your name in high regard to attract those people, on the back end, I would go find the people that I wanted to help that couldn't afford me, and I would do certain things to make sure that, that they would cover the minimums or something, or, that kind of thing. Or I would just take them on as a case or whatever. Because it's unfortunate that a lot of this information comes down to, obviously, some of the treatments. They can be pricey and detailed. They don't necessarily have to be. People just need to be educated on these lifestyle habits and factors because a lot of that will bring amazing results.
Yeah.
The supplements, obviously the nutrition that goes without saying. I mean, there's just no way around it. I'm old school in the sense, like I was one of the first that was really advocating organic foods in my generation. Wow. And I was ridiculed. And when, glyphosate, I was blowing the whistle on glyphosate 30 years ago.
Wow.
And GMOs, and I was told, I worked with a doctor. He says, I agree with you. Just, you can't talk about it anymore, because it's going to be problematic and it stress people out. It's just another big hurdle, right?
Yeah.
But, the baseline of helping people, giving them, once you figure out the essentials of what is needed to really start the healing process, and we all have that in us, right?
Yeah.
And to get that going. And then if it doesn't start to change and get better in a way which you look back and those symptoms are not gone, they're still there, certainly, then it's like, okay, maybe we need to go see, get you somebody else or find somebody else. But, the group that you're in should, always be in the same frequency that you're in. Otherwise, you're just wasting time.
Right.
This is the vibration that I have. This is the vibration you have, and they may be different. You may be vibrating higher than me. I may be lower, but yet we're still connecting at certain frequencies.
Right.
And the understanding of the relationship is that we're consciously trying to elevate that, and so I will help you, you will help me, we'll have an exchange, we will borrow each other's chi at times when we go through certain turbulent times or whatever. And as we bring more people into that circle, there's an understanding of that. And I think that's really important. And I've noticed that with a lot of your friends, like that, how you guys are very supportive of one another in ways. And you think about that, and you think about like the age that you're at, say if you're like, 25, 30. So where are you going to be when you're 50, right? And with a group of friends, because the world's configured in a way that they're really trying to ail us, right? Yeah. On the TVs, we get nothing but ads for pharmaceutical.
It's more profitable to keep us sick. That's
right.
Just straight up.
Right. I didn't want to come out and directly say that, but yeah. and so... whatever you stand on the side of the fence, politically, whatever, I think we all need to kind of come to an understanding that, listen, the pharmaceutical industry is about making money. And that when you're looking at long-term, health, longevity, you got to really prepare for it. The word that we used to use a lot was, preventative, but that's almost a joke now.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, now it's in like, detoxification. I grew up doing yoga. We used to, there's be a whole thing for cleansing and everything. It's obsolete.
Yeah.
Today we're just exposed to so many chemicals and, radiation to,
our entire environment is just not conducive of healing. And I mean, I find for myself as a musician that's been traveling the world and, playing with all sorts of artists, like, yes, there are those musicians and artists that are very supportive, but a lot of them were just there to, do a good job. But then after the gig, it's like, let's forget about everything and drink or do drugs or whatever. And they're not really conducting people to get better. I mean, of course, there's both sides of that. There's an amazing part of my music career where there's like so many people that were just, making sure that I showed up prepared and on time and really
super
knew my stuff and like super professional on that level. But then also showing up, I think a lot of people don't realize, just like we have innate vitality, we have innate artistic abilities and innate musical abilities. No matter, even if you haven't explored it, we really have that in us that's waiting to be explored. But it's like, when we show up somewhere and we don't have that vitality that you're talking about, that jing, like that life force energy, due to depletion of chemicals and radiation and all of these different things in our environment that are not really supporting us. And then that includes relationships too, actually, a lot. I feel like I've learned a lot about, how to properly care for people, but also draw boundaries and step away from things that are no longer serving me or sucking away my energy. And
it's a lot of work, right? Yeah. To maintain a level of health that is directing you in that longevity space. And when you're compromised and you're looking at things that are really taking away or you're causing energy to leak, and the things that are like, stifling the creativity. I mean, that's the highest level that we have in terms of a frequency. Yeah. And so it's very important to understand that, and understand that everything that you're doing is contributing to that. So when you look at how you could be leaking energy, what can be influencing the impact through, chemicals, your diet, stress, bad relationships, bad jobs, all these things. And I've experienced all of them, Adam. I mean,
Well, and that's what I admire about you. When I first met you, like I knew, okay, this guy's telling me some really deep stuff about the body and, all these different things. But like I could see in your energy field, this guy is legit. There's a lot of people out there that are telling me all sorts of amazingly insightful things to think about. But when I'm looking at them, and it's no judgment, but I'm just like, okay, is this person actually doing what they're telling me to do? Because I don't know if it's working for them or if it's actually like, maybe there's a block, maybe they've come a long way and this is, it's like nothing against them. But I really felt like, wow, I feel like whatever this guy's telling me right now is legit because he looks like he lives his, whatever he's talking about.
Well, I appreciate that, Adam. I came to an understanding years ago that when I looked at my life, and I thought, why am I here? And you go through certain phases through the course of your life. Why am I here? What is the meaning of life, if you will? All these different things. Everybody has a different,
version of that
adult conversation with themselves, where they have to sit down and they may have an epiphany or a come to Jesus moment, whatever you want to call it, right? But ideally, is like, why am I here? And for me, it was like, I need to share the experiences to empower other people. Yeah. And there's a healer I worked with years ago, and she says, honey, God speaks through your mouth. So you have to be selective of who you speak it to, but speak it. Mm-hmm. And so as I've gotten older, I realize like every day counts, right? So when I'm speaking to people or people come up to me, and it's happened my whole life that I don't even know, will come up to me and just like reveal something about themselves or whatever. And so from there, I honor that and I just speak freely with them. Like it's just no, because I
feel like they're going to receive what you're about to say.
Exactly. And why should I have reservation? Why should I, judge? Why should I anything? Right. Because my whole mindset is like, I don't know if this was because I was sick or I experienced death early on with my dad or whatever. I just was like, it's not as if I don't care. It's just that like the experience of life that I'm living, I feel as though is I need to share that.
Yeah.
And
that leads actually really well to one of my next questions, which was like, do you feel like your soul asked for the ailments? Like what did it teach you about yourself and the connection to your physical health, which you kind of went through a little bit, but
yeah. No, I think that I'm so gifted, I am like I wouldn't say I'm the chosen one or anything like that. I just say that because I think a lot of times we need to look at like, different paths that we could have gone down. There's times in your life that if you look back at them, I bet if you made this decision that would have taken you there, or you could have went this way and you ended up going a particular way where you're here today. And for me, if that didn't happen, if I didn't get Crohn's disease, if I didn't experience, my dad dying, in my presence, all that stuff, then I think my life would have had not as much meaning. I don't think I would have ever fully developed into the person I am today. And to sit there and like, a lot of like real positive thinkers would be like, you turn a negative into a positive or whatever. And I think that's like a sugarcoating the experience. I think you just have to get real with yourself a lot. And for me, I was kind of saved in a way because I would have ended up perhaps very disconnected. Right. And unable to feel certain things that I can feel and distinguish and have a life that has opened me up to a lot of amazing experiences. Right. And through that, having something and I've worked with a lot of people that have had serious diagnosis or illnesses, and you can't necessarily go in, like, I'm going to fix this person, I'm going to heal this person, or this is what needs to be done. You have to just kind of like take a deep breath and just look at them. Yeah. And there's no judgment or anything, and just be with them a lot and just listen to them. And if you can give them that energy, it's interesting what it does to their energy just by being with them, and then giving them that support and information that they need to make some changes that can impact them little by little. And it's they who makes the changes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's putting the power into their own hands, really.
And it's never like, they're always happy. They come back and they go, "You changed my life." It's like, it's just a guide. I was just a guide that had clearer vision than you at that time. Yeah. That's it.
Well, that's really what we are. I feel like, a lot of people are looking for that magic pill or someone to save them, like
an operation away from fixing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really about actually being able to, guide them to a place where they actually see that they're the ones that can actually change their own fate. And that a lot of the time I feel like the pain that comes into our life is actually there for a reason. Like, it didn't just show up randomly. It's like something is either not working or there's something we need to learn here, a lot of the time.
Constantly, yeah.
And it's like, it's funny that it's considered woo-woo, but it's like, sometimes if I have something happen where I have an injury, if I really sit and think about what's going on or what I was doing that day. Thank you so much for tuning into this short clip. If you want to hear the rest of the episode, feel free to go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, where you can hear the rest of the episode for free. And once again, thanks for your support and your engagement. It really means the world to me. And if you're looking to explore more of Ramsay Mead's incredible work, be sure to visit www.campvortexretreats.com. You can also follow him on Instagram at Camp Vortex Retreats for updates, inspiration, and a deeper connection to the healing journey. I'm really excited to have you, and I can't wait to explore more with you in these episodes to come. Until next time, take care and stay vibrant.